I've been running through rain that I thought would never end, trying to make it on faith in a struggle against the wind. I've seen the dark and the broken places, oh, but I know in my soul, no matter how bad it gets, I'll be alright.
Get back to the matter of the case being the fact that I did quit my job to save my dog's life, who was in fact my service dog since 2007. She was dying. The vets actually didn't expect her to live. She's seen now 5 vets since the 1st of January. They saved Bessie's life. Nobody expected her to pull through. 6 months of steroids, forcing her to stay alive after her sister died. And then the movie The Red Fern Grows. Now Bessie is a living example of the dedication and love that one soul can have towards another. When one soul dies, the other wants to mourn themselves to death. I couldn't deal with losing both of them at one time, so fortunately, thanks be to God, he had Bessie get on steroids. Whereas anybody that knows anything about animals, they only go on steroids for 3 weeks, but then she would crash and they put her back on steroids for 6 months. She stayed on steroids. And I quit my job in April. I said, okay, well, let me quit my job and perk her back up and get her happy, and then we'll get a foster dog or a foster cat, and she'll be good to go, and I can go back to work. Well, that never happened. And unfortunately, by the 1st of June, I no longer had money for rent, and as you can imagine, I fell behind in rent, and then, of course, an eviction followed thereafter, because I couldn't pay the additional fee that they all of a sudden demanded that I pay for a service dog. It wasn't written in my contract as of the 1st of January, but even though they couldn't provide documentation in your written contract, because such a thing never existed. She's my service dog. It's illegal to discriminate against somebody for their service dog. It's definitely illegal to charge someone extra for their service dog. But they did, all at one time. Why? Because they evicted my entire neighborhood. It was known as Heroin Hill. And yes, I'm heroin-free, always have been. It's also Satan's favorite tool, and I refuse, regardless of how angry I am at God right now, tomorrow, or the next day, I refuse to give Satan my soul. And you can see there's a lot of hatred, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of anguish, a lot of resentment, but there's also a lot of forgiveness and a lot of love and a hell of a lot of compassion. And I know God sees all that too. But I refuse to give my life to Satan, so Heroin Hill, all I could do was pray about it every day. And amazingly, you know, Heroin Hill was known all across Cincinnati. It was the #1 epidemic center of the city besides Over the Rhine. But amazingly, after I moved in, a year and 3 months after I moved in, it was sold. They'd been trying to sell it for like 5 years. It was finally successful. And of course, out of 186 tenants, I believe 180 of them, as I was told, 181 of them were evicted within the first 2 months. I was one of the few people, one of the 5 remaining, that they couldn't evict, because I had a contract with them until December 31st, 2016. But they went to the judge and said, hey, you know what? She hasn't been paying for this dog. Service dog, mind you, my service dog. But I have documentation from my doctor that I require since 2007. But all of a sudden now they want to charge me, you know, for the last 5 months. They want to charge me. Actually, they want me to pay it all up front at one time. But now of course, the Clinton County Sheriff now is refusing to file charges of domestic violence, felonious assault, assault with a deadly weapon, or even just a minimal aggravated menacing, which carries up, I believe, 6 to 18 months in jail. Okay. Do you want to guess why they're refusing now? Well, first of all, because Deputy Brown and Deputy Williams failed to mention that there was a weapon involved, even though it's on the 9/11. When I call it 9/11, go figure, right? 9/11. Another wonderful inside job. Who did it? I've got to figure that one out. But it certainly wasn't an unexpected. It was a highly well-planned crime. And whatever, I'm not even going to go there. Because then you start calling me a foil-hatted conspiracy theorist, which is exactly what our government wants you to believe. So then you think I'm crazy, and that everything I'm telling you and all these other conspiracy theorists are telling you, like Alex Jones on InfoWars, that we're all nuts, Of course, our government would want you to think that we're nuts, because of course FEMA can't still exist. Of course, the New World Order doesn't exist, even though you have president after president after president after president after financial advisor after countries' prime ministers all across the globe saying that we're now in a new world order, and now we have a global economic system. You still want to foolishly believe that I'm a conspiracy theorist. So we're just going to drop that. Getting back to 9/11, I don't know where that went. I'm just going to stop right there. Anyway, long story short, because they failed to include in the report that he had his hand on a weapon which does constitute as a threat. And the Ohio Revised Code, I think it's 2903, maybe .21. Again, I just looked at it this morning, yesterday evening to this morning, to start researching this. And of course, the deputy sheriff that I met with, the investigator, the head guru over there, what's his name? Here we go. Here's his card. Go ahead and call him if you want to support me. Anybody who's ever been a victim of domestic violence and you have been ridiculed or ignored by your local law officials, please call this guy. Let's see, his name is, what's his name? Lieutenant, Smirk Ass Lieutenant, I'm sorry, it doesn't say Smirk Ass. It says Lieutenant Michael Casinos, Road Patrol. Why do I say Smirk Ass? Because as I told him straight to his face over and over again, you're smiling. You think this is funny. Apparently you think it's funny. Apparently, just because, let's see, I'm homeless now and I live with my dad and I take care of him, keeping him out of a hospital, you think I have no right to live there. You have no idea what I've been through. You have no idea what I've given up. You have no idea what that little dick has done to me. Honestly, I don't know what that little dick has done to me. I can only tell you what he's done to me in the last few years. But then let's go back and concentrate here. Lieutenant. Let's see, Lieutenant Kirkland. Here's where the death threats come into me, I'm sure, which is where your office is really concerned. Lieutenant Casinos, is the fact that your deputy sheriffs came in July to August of 2013, based on a single phone call from me, marched into my dad's house, which I was not living at the time. I was coming there to take care of him 3 to 5 days a week, in which I had given up a fantastic job for $250 to $300 a week, whatever hours I wanted, 10 to 3, whatever swing hours I wanted, working in human resources down in Cincinnati, Ohio. Awesome job. My dad begged me not to take it because, what if I fall? You can't take a job because what if I fall while you're gone? So what happens when I come home? Oh, he's stuck in the bathtub for 2 hours. Really, Dad? He couldn't get out. Do you care? Hell no. Hell no, you don't care. Hell no, you don't care. Obviously, he's still there. Chopped off his toe. Dropped a microwave on his toe. Yeah, I went back, 2 months after you guys confiscated, approximately 15 weapons from his house. I told you that he fell into his friend's chest with a loaded gun the night before. And what did you do? He said, well, if we take all the weapons, can we put them, do you want them? I believe is what they said. What they said exactly, I don't know. I didn't have a microphone on me at the time. All I know, they asked me if I would take the weapons. If they went in and took all the weapons, would I take them? I said, well, lock some of them up in the safe. But the rifles and the handgun, yes, we can put some of them in my car. I'll lock some of them up, put some of them in my car. I'll take them down to a family member who I refuse to reveal to you the source, because then you'll go after the family member, I'm sure. But that's okay. Your sheriffs, and my dad will testify to the fact that your deputy sheriffs did in fact come into his house and empty out all of his guns, with leaving ammunition all over his house, and did in fact put the guns in my car. Illegally entered his house without a search warrant, without any other eyewitness to the account, and now you're telling me to have a domestic violence charge pressed against my dad, that I have to have an eyewitness. Pretty sure that someone would be pretty fucking stupid to threaten somebody's life or commit domestic violence in front of a witness. Yet you have my dad as a witness to felony charges against your entire, a large majority of your sheriff's department. So we might want to get this resurrected there, Lieutenant Casinos. Just saying. Guessing that I'm going to end up dead. And well, I know she's going to end up dead because besides the fact that I Gave her a double dose of her legal medication. Okay, plus over-the-counter Benadryl. So she could actually, so her heart would stop racing. It was beating, what, 190 beats a minute? It's okay, it's just a dog. It's only my service animal. I require it. Medical need. You killed. You deprived me of my medical life assistance. This is going to look good in front of a grand jury there, Lieutenant Casinos. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have to say. Clinton County Sheriff's Department, I really highly recommend that you follow the law. Implement the law. I pay you to protect me. I'm demanding that you actually protect me. And then you question why I didn't call you July 28th, July 31st, or August 7th. The previous 3 times that my dad had threatened my life by pointing a gun directly at me and making the remark that, yeah, it's loaded. I said, Dad, do you know the gun's pointed right at my head? Yeah. And it's loaded. Quote unquote. Yeah, and it's loaded. Those are always reassuring words to hear. That's, of course, after he made a felonious charge against me to another eyewitness, which the Sheriff's Department so far has refused to even acknowledge is a crime in and of itself, but he tried to set me up for a crime. Now, he tried to set me up. Apparently, he told a mutual friend of ours 2 weeks before I showed up. Quote unquote, this is what the friend told me, quote unquote, when my dead, let's see, how did he say it? When they, something about my dead body. When my dead body shows up, Rhea killed me. I hadn't talked to my dad in over 2 years, almost 3 years actually. Oh, over 3 years. Almost exactly 3 years to the date, apparently, of when he made this comment. 3 years I had not seen him. The last time I had seen him actually was when he brought back the personal belongings that were in the Dodge Durango. I believe it was the 1997 Dodge Durango, that he had literally signed over to me, which can be verified through the Milford Police Department, Officer John Pryor. Officer John Pryor, I'm sorry, I have memory problems due to my severe PTSD from my serious molestation as a child, as a teenager. Well documented. Friends, colleagues, employers, previous employees, previous employees that I worked with, psychiatric records, etc., etc. Well, anyway, I don't know where I was going from. Shocking memory problems. There we go. Okay, and that was planned, by the way. I did that intentionally. Yeah, right. Whatever. Anyway, Clinton County Sheriff's Department, I really highly recommend. I can't threaten you because then you'll throw me in federal prison for threatening you, but I would highly recommend that you do your job. I would highly recommend that you protect me as a legal, Trump-supporting, tax-paying citizen of Clinton County. I highly recommend that you do your job and protect my life. And stop questioning why I didn't call you July 28th, July 31st, and August 7th. I don't know, because I would have been homeless. And let's see, I just quit my job in April of 2016 to save. Yes, that's right. Let's bring it up again. My service dog's life, which you laughed about as well. Oh, you quit your job to save your dog's life? Yeah, that's right, I did. I know, most people wouldn't do that, would they? But I did. She's my service dog. She has given her life to serve me. The least I can do is quit my measly job at the Waffle House to save my best friend and my loyal companion and service dog's life. Okay. Unfortunately, it took much longer than I thought it would. Fortunately, she has recovered somewhat until now this trauma. Now she's going to be euthanized tomorrow because I refuse to let her continue suffering like this. Refused. The dog can't walk now, thanks to laying on a cement floor at a homeless shelter and riding around the truck for 5 days because you failed miserably in fulfilling your job protecting me as a tax-paying citizen and a legal tax-paying citizen of Clinton County, Ohio, who is a repeated victim of domestic violence and felonious assault and aggravated menacing. But go ahead and keep laughing about it. Clinton County Sheriff's Department. Let me go ahead and mention your name again there. Lieutenant Casinos, because you told me to contact you instead of the other officers that were involved. Anyway, much love to you all again. Women out there, if you have been victims of domestic violence, I pray that justice will be done in your case, and I pray that you'll call Clinton County, Sheriff's Office 937-382-1611 and demand justice for my case, demand justice for myself, and for my beloved Bessie. More so for Bessie than myself. I'm a big girl. I've been fighting dick a long fucking time. 49 years to be exact. But you know what? My best friend, my service dog, my best friend, it's more than she can handle. It's more than she fucking deserves. And I demand justice.